Good evening and welcome back to Falcon Update Live on YBTV. I'm Nolan Hoganboom.
And I'm Paul Callender. For more YBTV content, check out our YouTube channel and social media pages.
Taking a look at campus COVID-19 data. Confirmed cases doubled in the last week, bringing the university to a total of 17 positive student cases and 2 employee cases since move-in day, with 5 student cases recovered. In light of this, starting this week, Messiah will be using stratified random sampling to test 10% of the student population every 1 to 2 weeks. Students will be notified via email if they're involved in that week's testing, and results are expected 2 to 3 days after testing. Students will again be notified of the results via email.
The Kim Phipps Admissions and Welcome Center, as well as the new green space surrounding it, are continuing to come into fruition this week. Looking inside the building, we can see carpeting and more wall painting coming together, as well as some new lighting installations and some work on the main stairwell. As far as the exterior of the building goes, we can see a continuation of the new window work from last week, as well as some new sidewalks being poured and the trees being planted around the area of the building. Speaking of sidewalks, new green space paths have been coming together, are set to be open to walk on in the coming weeks. No specific day has been given as of yet, and students may also notice some new outdoor furniture around the existing green space as well.
More trees around campus? The Office of Sustainability was looking to achieve just that. Let's take an inside look.
I'm standing right here where Messiah University is about to give back to their environment in another way through this year's tree planting event. As you can see, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done right now, but the students and staff here will make it happen. Over 80 students and staff showed up to help the Office of Sustainability in their partnership with the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay to plant 500 trees on campus. According to the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay, these trees planted along Cemetery Hill are expected to last up to 700 years. This event serves as a continuation for Messiah University's partnership with the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay. The Alliance works to clean and protect landscapes and waterways throughout the Chesapeake Bay watershed, including the yellow breaches that run straight through campus.
This has been a partnership that's going on for about 2 years now. Last fall, the Alliance helped us put over 150 trees in the ground on various locations around campus, including behind the baseball field. So this is kind of phase 2 of our project, where we're putting over 500 trees in the ground. And the Alliance provides a lot of the funding through grant money, some of the logistic work with getting the trees and the supplies. And then they also help us on the day of the event, showing us how to do it right and give us some extra help there.
I am a sustainability major, and part of the reason I am is because of just how much I love God's plan for creation and our role in it. And I think planting the trees here today is a great example of how we can care for what God has given us and the responsibility we have to that. And it's just a fun time to fellowship with great people and, again, just give back and make our campus the kind of place that we all want to live in.
As you can see here, we have plenty of volunteers out here to support the Office of Sustainability in their efforts to plant trees here, and it's a perfect socially distanced activity too outside. So, reporting for YBTV, I'm Paul Callender. Thanks, Paul. Messiah students and employees gathered on Vintner Beach this past Wednesday to celebrate the International Day of Peace. This event showcased many of Messiah's talented students, as attendees were able to watch dance performances, listen to poetry, scripture, and spoken word performances, and hear live music. Each performance was tied together by the ideas of shalom, the Hebrew word for peace, as well as the peace of God. Attendees also participated in prayer together throughout the event. This event utilizes spaced-out circles used for SAB's Screen on the Green to promote social distancing, and both viewers and performers were appropriately spaced to accommodate for Messiah University's COVID-19 restrictions. The gathering was a very spiritual time for many people who attended, and it was a great reminder that peace is not always the absence of conflict, but it is the ability to cope with conflict.
We'll have more Falcon Update when we come back. Stay tuned.
My name is Curtis Seaman. I'm a senior journalism major. So my entire life, I've really enjoyed writing, really enjoyed sports. I thought that if I combined the two, sports journalism would be the perfect major for me. I feel very prepared for post-graduation with practicum. That's been a huge help. You have to participate in 3 different mediums of communication, media, throughout the class period. And to be able to do things like radio and television and writing has just kind of really helped to broaden my horizons. And in terms of writing, I'm also excited to use all of those skills that I've learned as well. Obviously, the professors here in the communication department are fantastic, and they really know how to get you to drill down and get you to write the best that you possibly can. In a senior sem, Dr. Dixon prays before every class, and a lot of other professors do that. To be able to pray in class, to be able to talk about faith-based things is just huge, and I really have appreciated that all 4 of my years here at Messiah. So right now I'm interning at WGAL 8 in Lancaster, which is just a TV station, NBC affiliate. The hours are a little rough. They're from 4 in the morning until noon, but that's also been a look ahead of what it's going to be like in my career in the future, so that's been also a good experience. For MC77, my sophomore year was the first year I did. I started on camera, moved to floor manager. I've done everything from camera to producing, executive producing, anchoring, VTR, audio. You can do pretty much any role. They're more than willing to give you the chance to make mistakes, but also to learn, because the time is now to make mistakes before you go out and are working for a real television station. MC77 has definitely given me a ton of great experience and prepared me for what's to come with that, and I'm excited to use that more within bigger TV stations and more live television day in and day out.
What?
Every undergraduate engineering major at Messiah has a minimum 4-semester built-in internship in the program. So they're able to transition from the classroom learning environment to a project-based learning environment where they're being peer mentored, and they're also being mentored by professionals that serve as player coaches on their team.
The Collaboratory's business model is that it pairs student teams with either faculty mentors or outside professionals to work on systems that either care for the earth or help disadvantaged people around the world.
On the African continent, over 30% of hand pumps at any one time are non-functional. This seems like the kind of problem that Jesus would care about, and I'm excited to be part of the Better Pumps team, working with Emma Workman, the student project manager.
Better Pumps is a project working to sustain a reliable water infrastructure for the users of hand pumps, specifically in Africa. We are testing the new bearings and the new seals specifically in the hand pumps to see if they will outlast the old design. I knew that I wanted to come to a Christian college to continue to grow in my faith. I love just having the opportunity to have relationships with my professors and stop in their office in the afternoon and just catch up about life.
Welcome back to this week's Falcon Features, a segment where we highlight the accomplishments of Messiah alumni. I'm your host, Jessica Sosofskis. This week's featured Falcon is Dr. Mindy Smith, who recently published an article in Case Studies in Sport and Exercise Psychology called An Intervention to Support Collegiate Student Athletes in Their Transition to Meaningful Lifetime Physical Activity. Dr. Smith is assistant professor on the Applied Health Science in the Health, Nutrition, and Exercise Department and is the director of student wellness. Let us continue to learn more about this article from Dr. Smith herself.
So, what inspired you to write this article?
I finished my doctorate just over a year ago at UNC Greensboro. And while I was a student there doing my doctoral work, I got very interested in the idea of supporting student athletes as they transition beyond competitive collegiate sports. Having gone through that transition myself, I kind of remembered the interesting time right after college. I call it my slow, pointless jogging phase, where I didn't really know what to do once competitive soccer was done. And it took me a while to kind of figure out what was meaningful and what I wanted to do to be physically active. So I had some great mentors at UNCG who are also interested in this area. And so for my dissertation last year, I designed a program that I called Pilates Connect, and it was a program specifically designed for student athletes who are in their final year of competition. It was a 6-week program where we came together and there was actual Pilates training to introduce student athletes to a different form of exercise that they could kind of build competence in. And then there was also intentional discussion during that time for student athletes just to connect with each other across different sports and be able to share both some of the challenges they anticipated facing as they graduated and considered what was interesting to them from an exercise standpoint, and also just kind of a chance to start to proactively think through these areas and kind of plan. So the article that was published recently was basically a case study that looked at implementing that program here at Messiah and kind of an overview of my dissertation work.
As you can tell, Dr. Smith is very knowledgeable on this topic and is trying to make a difference for the students here on campus. A big thank you to Dr. Smith for coming on the show, and be sure to check out her article. That's all for this week's Falcon Features. I'm Jessica Selaskis.
Thanks, Jessica. Due to the various restrictions in place to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 on campus, instead of packing Hostetter Chapel wall to wall, Messiah students this past Friday socially distanced in the bleachers of Shoemaker Field for a night of worship through music and masks. This is the third week Campus Ministries provided this Friday night worship opportunity.
And we're back with another Falcon on the Street, the segment where we ask students random questions around campus. Let's go to Kelsey McCann for this week's question.
Welcome back to this week's Falcon on the Street. This week's question is, what is your favorite fall activity and why?
My favorite fall activity is I like to pick apples and go to corn mazes.
Carving pumpkins.
I like to fly a kite when it's really windy out.
I would say my favorite fall activity is just like sitting outside, being with friends.
Running in corn mazes.
My favorite fall activity is picking apples in a local orchard with my family. I like to do that because I don't often get to go home during the school year, so around the fall time it's great to spend time with my siblings and my family. I love hiking.
My favorite fall activity is probably just climbing trees.
My favorite fall activity is painting with my friends.
And my favorite fall activity is probably eating leaves.
My favorite fall activity is wearing sweaters because I have way too many of them and they need to be used.
My favorite fall activity is carving pumpkins with my family. My dad and I carve the pumpkins and my mom roasts the seeds and then we eat them afterward, and it's great. It's so much fun.
I really enjoy just spending some time outdoors, especially around a campfire with a group of friends. I really like crunching leaves.
Rolling in them. That's it for this week's Falcon on the Street. Be sure to comment on our social media. I'm Kelsey McCann.
Need something to do this week? We'll go to PJ Rydell for this week's campus calendar.
Welcome back to YBTV. I'm PJ Rydell, here with this week's campus calendar. Because of COVID-19, there aren't many events going on around campus, but there are still a few that are important to keep in mind. The Career and Professional Development Center's virtual Into the City trip to California started today as they feature online career chats with alumni in the California region. Today's session featured alumni from Netflix, and the remaining sessions include tomorrow with Google from 4 to 5 p.m., LinkedIn on Thursday, October 7th from 4 to 5 p.m., and Disney on Friday, October 8th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. For more information on upcoming events and how to register, go to the Career Center's website at messiah.edu/career. Even though there are no chapel requirements this semester, Campus Ministries are still offering opportunities to plug in. On Tuesday, you can tune into It's All About You Chapel, led by student leader Katie Dietz at 9:30 a.m., or anytime after. On Wednesday, there will be a devotional on Mark chapter 6, verses 30 through 43, with student leader David Brazina. And on Thursday, you can join the Colossians Zoom Sixer at 9:30 a.m. This weekend, the Student Activities Board will be presenting Ford versus Ferrari for Screen on the Green. Bring chairs, blankets, and friends, and sit one person per circle. And be sure to check in at the tent to make sure that they don't exceed the maximum of 250 students. As always, snacks will be provided. And as a reminder, seating is first come, first serve. Be sure to wear a mask at all times and remain socially distanced. Show times will be at 8 o'clock Friday night, October 8th, and 8 o'clock Saturday night, October 9th. The Department of Theater and Dance's performance of Antigone is underway, and there's still time left to see it yourself. The tragedy was written in 441 BC about the aftermath of the Civil War, in which two sons kill each other. Please note that this production does contain some mature content that may not be suitable for all audiences. Performances will be live on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Links to the live stream can be found on our social medias. Flu season is approaching, and Messiah has partnered with CVS to provide free flu shots to all students that register to receive one. A mass email was sent from the Engel Center this morning with the link to register. Follow the link to sign up for yours. Vaccines will be administered in Brubaker Auditorium on October 7th from 1 to 4 p.m. That's all we have for this week's campus calendar. I'm PJ Rydell.
Thanks, PJ. Next up, we have an interview with Abby Ruth, a career coach from the Career and Professional Development Center. Don't go anywhere.
My name is Nathan Sims. I'm a junior at Messiah College, and I'm a double major in both film and media arts and Spanish. I grew up making films as a kid. I saw that Messiah had a film program, and so when I visited, I just thought this is the perfect fit. Both the theory and practical considerations here have really increased my skill set, not just in a technical sense, but also from a theoretical perspective as well. I think the biggest piece that I'll add to my portfolio before I graduate is the final film for the junior and senior film project. That'll probably be my crowning achievement because I'm working with so many other artists and other film majors, and it's just been a really great opportunity so far. I think I'm most excited to use skills I've learned in documentary class. I have to make ethical decisions in every step of the process to really come up with a strong and truthful way to tell someone else's story. I think my professors have done a really great job of being strong examples for what combining your faith and your ethics with an art form like film, what that looks like. And so the interactions have almost always been positive because they're really invested in what their students are learning. One of my most valuable experiences was my internship, where I was able to actually apply what I learned in the classroom to the real world, and I think that's a completely invaluable experience. Personally, I did my internship with the Department of Natural Resources in Maryland. One of my favorite experiences at Messiah so far has actually been the Splice Film Festival, which allows students to submit their own personal work, and being able to share the art that I created as well as my fellow classmates was absolutely beautiful. I think the market right now is very open for film and media arts majors. There's a lot of different ways that you can plug in, both at nonprofits, at regular organizations. I worked in the government, and so I think there are absolutely a lot of opportunities.
Biomedical engineering is the combination of human health with the rigor and the desire to solve problems in engineering. Messiah is distinct in the world of biomedical engineering primarily because of the collaboratory.
The collaboratory's business model is that it pairs student teams with either faculty mentors or outside professionals to work on systems that either care for the earth or help disadvantaged people around the world.
We work with hospitals in Kenya, in Nepal, in Macha, Zambia to solve healthcare problems for real patients and for their doctors with projects that students work on here.
The really cool thing about biomedical engineering is that there's a lot of paths you can pursue with that. You can go into more research-oriented, you can go into straight into a job. I'm hoping personally to go into the graduate research and hopefully pursue like a master's or a PhD in biomedical engineering. I chose Messiah College because I felt like Messiah integrated faith and science in a way that I was able to appreciate and I could pursue both at the same time.
Welcome back to Falcon Update. While Abby Ruth couldn't join us live on the show, I had the pleasure of doing an interview with her over Zoom.
Hi, my name is Abby Ruth. I am graduating this December. I'm a double major in International Business and French, and I'm a student career coach at the Career and Professional Development Center.
Perfect. Okay. So for those who may not know, can you explain what the Career and Professional Development Center is, / what services do they provide?
Sure. So just in case people don't know, we're located across from the Falcon. We're that super kind of scary, not really significant looking set of rooms. So we help students with resumes, we help them find internships, we help with grad school applications. Basically anything you can think of relating to career, even choosing your major. If you think you want to switch out of it or add a minor, we can help with that. And you can schedule an appointment with a career coach, or my role, and I can explain a little bit more about that later, is to be there for drop-in hours. So we have drop-in hours Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. You can just come in with a resume or with questions. You don't have to schedule anything, and we're right there.
Interesting. I actually did not know that you could go.
Are you serious?
Well, no, I did not know that you could go specifically if you're like switching a major.
Yeah.
Minor. I just thought that was something that you had to go to Old Main to do.
Nope. Well, now everything's online. So like you don't fill out one of the little green forms or something. Everything's online and it goes through the registrar, but we can provide guidance for it.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
So as a career coach, which sounds super fancy, can you explain what you do in that position?
Yeah, so the career coaches are like Dwayne Kiefer and Meg Jones Hoover, and then they're our supervisors. I'm a student career coach, or SCC for short, because we're fancy. So I basically have office hours. So my office hours this semester are Monday, Wednesday, Friday at certain times, and we're there to help anyone who comes in with questions about a resume, grad school, internships, or changing a major, any of the services we provide. We've all been trained. We had training with student leaders when we got back onto campus. And then when we're not helping students with that, we're working on our own projects. So right now, Abby Book, who's one of the other employees of the Career Center, is working on a project with digital efficiency and working to make more media available online. So each of us SCCs are actually creating a podcast episode, very short, around a job topic. So that's one of the projects we're working on right now. We helped with the grad school fair that was yesterday, and a bunch of other like research and events in our downtime.
Awesome. Have you done the podcast yet, or is that like
no?
Been planning?
There are going to be phases, and they're going to be up on the website. So we have to like write a script, and then we have to record it. But first, we have to have an initial meeting with Abby. So we'll get there.
Okay, looking forward to that.
But yes, look out for those.
Awesome. So you briefly touched upon the internship program, which I know is very important for students here on campus, but can you explain, just maybe for like first years who may not know, what it is?
Yes. So our internship program is actually ranked one of the best in the country. There are over 400 schools that have based their program off of ours because we take a really individualized approach. We have 2 staff whose pretty much entire role is dedicated to helping students find internships and helping them throughout the process of completing their internship. So you can do an internship without getting academic credit at Messiah. And the value of just doing an internship, even if you don't have to, is that you get real world experience. You find out you love a certain job, or maybe you hate a job. And it's really good to look on your resume because it shows you have experience. And then Messiah's internship program is for students who earn academic credit. And there's like a class that you take where you just create a resume and a LinkedIn profile that helps you in your journey of the internship. Yeah.
Awesome. So connecting that a little bit, also for students who may not know, the ELI, the experiential
learning initiative.
Can you explain what that is and how students can complete that?
Mm-hmm. So as far as I know, ELI, or Experiential Learning Initiative, you can complete it through a few ways on campus. So you can study abroad, you can do a service learning experience, you can be in a leadership position, or you can do an internship. So we actually have one person who's dedicated to coordinating the ELI for the Career Center. So she helps students with internships as well, and the ELI requirements, which include reflection questions and learning objectives, kind of like what we have in class, but you get to make your own. And yeah, that's a graduation requirement that's special to Messiah. And I hate saying it's a requirement, but because it's usually really fun to do. I studied abroad for mine, and it was really great. But it's just kind of an extracurricular built into the curriculum.
Gotcha. So like with COVID, I know that students couldn't go abroad in the future to come, next year, or like this past year, or this past May, I should say. So what can students do to complete their ELI requirement if they were, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes. So there are a lot of leadership positions on campus that students could do, or a lot of students are still doing internships. There are some that are remote, but actually a lot are in person right now, just being very careful and socially distanced. So that's also a possibility. And I believe, I may be mistaken, this isn't my area, I believe students who were supposed to go on a cross-cultural still took a class, so they are able to fulfill that. So I think Messiah is working really hard to make sure students are able to fulfill it, and it's not really complicated due to COVID. But yeah, like the Career Center operations are pretty much as normal. We have about the same amount of students doing an internship as we have in the past, even more, I think we said. So, all good.
Okay. I was going to ask a question too later on about how you guys are navigating COVID in the center, but you already seem to touch upon that, you know.
Well, I mean, I can answer the rest of it now too. Sure. Okay. So we are in person in the center. Some of the staff rotates, like whether they're at home or whether they're here. We do, starting Monday, we will have like a Zoom room where students who feel more comfortable Zooming into office hours can do that, so they don't have to come into the center. So that's for remote students. That's for students who just want to sit in their apartment and work on their resume rather than coming to the Career Center. But we do have reduced seating. We clean after every single person leaves. We wipe down the iPads. Like, we're very, very careful because we want to stay on campus along with everyone else. So yeah, a lot of precaution.
Awesome. So just to shift a little bit, I know that Into the City definitely looks a lot different this year, I know, but it's in California. So what is the format like virtually for students who sign up? Like, what can they expect?
Yeah, so Into the City is being conducted through Handshake, which every Messiah student has an account, even if you've never signed on before. You just use your Messiah credentials. And that's a really good way to find jobs, internships, and connect with employers. So there will be webinars, and you can register for one, you can register for all of them, and you'll just click and be able to view. So we have companies like Levi's Jeans, we have Netflix, LinkedIn, a lot of really, really cool companies that otherwise we wouldn't have been able to connect with because we can't go to California in person. So I'm really excited. There are a couple that I'm really excited and looking forward to. So yeah, just register. They send out a lot of emails with the events, so read those emails, or you can go to the Career Center page and it'll lead you to the Handshake, which will lead you to how to sign up for Into the City.
Awesome. Which one are you excited for?
I'm excited for LinkedIn because I'm a business nerd. Yeah.
Awesome. So you may get asked this question a lot, but as a coach, what is one piece of advice you can give for students that are building their resume?
I would say any experience that you have is worth examining. Even if you were a babysitter or a waitress or something, the key is transferable skills. So like for me, I had both those jobs. I babysat and I was a waitress. So waitressing, don't talk about or wait staff, I guess I should say, like serving food to 20 people at a time or something. You could talk about the time management, the attention to detail, ability to work in a high stress environment. So basically any job that you have, if you don't feel confident in your ability or in your resume, look at every single job you've had and try to think of the transferable skills. And that's one of the things we can help you with as well.
Solid piece of advice. So this is also just a fun little question, but what are some common mistakes that students make on their resumes?
Consistency is key. So sometimes there are students who copy and paste different things, and so it's different fonts or something like that. Pictures, most of the time it's not necessary. There are exceptions, like for theater, obviously you need your headshot. International resumes, a lot of times a picture is kind of required or expected, but in general, no picture. And I mean, mistakes not including the experiences that I talked about. Yeah, generally students are confident, and we do have some guides on the website that can help build a resume. And then if you want to do that and then bring it in, or just sit down with us and we can take you through it. Yeah.
Awesome.
They're pretty good. I mean,
that's
I won't say who, but one of the supervisors in the Career Center, he likes to say that his first resume had his height, weight, and marital status. So as long as you don't have those, you're good.
Okay. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind. So I know you already mentioned your personal hours that you're in the center, but can you also just one more time mention, like, if a student would like to set up an appointment, where do they go and what are the hours of that?
So drop-in hours are every single weekday, 9 to 5. It might be until 4 on Fridays, but 9 to 5, you just stop in. And then if you want to make an appointment, so you have like a more specialized request or you need to set up like an hour, then you can go to Handshake, and that's linked on our website, which is on the Messiah website. So just look up Messiah Career, and then it'll take you to Handshake after you click through the website a little bit. And then you can register with a specific staff member, or there are some staff members that their expertise is different in like different fields. They specialize in different fields. So you would look for one of those. But yeah, it's pretty easy.
All right, good. I'm glad. That is all the questions I actually have. Is there anything else that you would like to add? If not, that is okay too.
We're open. Anyone is welcome to drop by. Yeah, we're being safe in COVID and we're still in person, but we are also going remote in some ways too. So both options. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Abby.
That is all for this week's show. For Nolan Hogenboom, Paul Callender, and our other fantastic reporters, I am JC Seltzer. Have a great night and see you next week.